tonight. Once more, everything seems to be working correctly. Seems to be going good, so hopefully it just stays that way. Because I didn't know if the connection would work, I didn't plan anything for tonight. I don't even have very many new writings in my little book. And I didn't pull out any of the usual tarot decks or reading material. I do have the Cosmic Deck of Initiation here, but I think because I've been struggling with the stream this week, I kind of want to do pre-recorded tarot. And this is the only tarot deck I have. I have an astrology deck that we can maybe mess around with tonight, but it's not really the space for tarot at this time, which is why last night I was going to read. And then it got disrupted. So I was like, okay, maybe the point is not to read the book. I was very excited about it though, and it did feel very connected to my roots and also the roots of many of the teachings I have followed to get to this point. So it doesn't really seem like it's me who thinks it's not a great idea to read the book, but rather, I don't want to say external forces, but sometimes the need for me to take my own advice, especially when it comes to spirituality, as I can listen to the streams and hear what I say. But then when I experience it, like I have, not just today, but these past few weeks of Cancer season, it can still catch me so off guard and put me in such a place of doubt that I can definitely understand why people have their doubts in their faith and religions. Because even as the spiritual worker or the holy man or whatever the fuck, the forecaster, I still, in all my walking in faith, am cast with doubt. And it's whether or not you accept the doubt as truth, whether or not it has affected you, yes? But I guess I have no other better way to put that. So either way, no plans for tonight. Hopefully it's not just a bunch of workers again messing with the connection. So weird to say stuff like that. But inevitably rings true, yeah? That's my own dissonance with what I do. Anyways, we can elaborate on all this and more. But I do have to roll these ads, or else they're gonna auto roll, and we hate that. We don't like to know when it's not expected. So 3 minutes, but oddly enough, because I'm streaming on the iPhone, I can't change the screen. So if you're a subscriber, you'll just look at me. And if you're not, I think you'll see the ads. So great. I'm gonna take like a little nap every time my ads roll. Let them just, just like 3 minutes of ads for 60 minutes of ad free. It's not bad. What happens if I just you can still kind of see me. There it is. I'm gonna freak some people out. No, I should practice freaking out. Okay. Not as sneaky as I wanted to be, so if I just like the delay is fucking me up. Damn. I'm gonna start glitching. I wanted to surprise people, scare them. I don't think it's going to work. Just the goofy stuff that I do when I cannot fill the BRB screen. It's funny because it's streaming for the iPhone, it's almost like FaceTiming a bunch of strangers, right? It's so much more intimate than my usual setup to be this close. And I probably don't need this. This light is not so bright, but it looks so bright on the camera that it's fine in my eyes in real life. But then seeing the camera brightness seems like it's blinding. I don't mind looking away and looking over at the other screen to make sure that we're not glitching terribly. So far, the only time that it glitched tonight was when I whipped up really fast. So I think that should probably say enough. It's okay. Just don't go too fast. All right. 30 more seconds until the ads are over. So that's cool. Drink water. It was 5:55 on the clock when I said that's cool. 10 seconds. And we're back. Hello. So you see these funny little, what would you say, indiscrepancies, where at this point I haven't successfully streamed in days. It's pretty late. I should be more tired than I am, but I get these weird winds in the midnight morning hours. I kept trying to do this and that on stream the past few nights, but it wouldn't let me, so tonight I didn't really intend anything. I just figured if it worked, and we'd go from there. But now that we're here, I'm not really sure. My go-to was to read the book, but it seemed like maybe this wasn't the right time, place, and setting to do that, even though we've read most of it, so it does feel like maybe we should finish it. And it's funny because the other titles were so much more appropriate than this one. I've been trying to finish reading the book, finish writing it finally, and I think it has a good ending. I like it, but it seems like there's so much feedback and interference from me actually getting it out and letting you all hear the end, the finish. And it's just so uncanny because I felt like we were reading Be Here Now for this reason. I was awakened in this way for this reason. I had this experience that inspired this text for a reason. And it was unintentional towards anything specific other than to say, hey, now there's not only this deep understanding for what is, okay, and has always been, but now a new appreciation for it and myself. Good. It's good. So why not read it? I don't know, because it's glitched out every single time I've tried. That's what's so funny. And it's just like, why? I thought it was just a cool story, bro. That was a cool story, bro. But yeah, I like it. I like the book. And I thought y'all deserved to hear the ending, especially if you have heard me from the start and going forward, so many times. But it's also been a lot of lurkers lately, which is okay. Somebody wheezing or doing something. I don't know. There's a weird feeling in my, from here to here. I don't know. Somebody's got like a tube or a tattoo or something going on there. But I don't think I'm going to do any tarot necessarily tonight. I have a deck in front of me, but I just don't have the space, which is why I was thinking of doing some individual tarot readings later this week when I can. And other than reading and just talking, there's not a whole lot else to do. We could kind of resume the Cancer season conversation just to kind of warm up. Because again, we haven't streamed in a while, so it's like I ain't even trying to tell anybody anything except for like read what I already wrote. Hey, Rhino. Because it seems like a waste of breath to be talking when I know that a lot of people who end up watching this channel or these streams are like, I don't want to say they're my enemies, because it's never like I consciously, truly, wholly, concrete know who's watching. I can only intuitively guess and then see how my life resonates after, right? And how I can see, okay, so you're making a reference that I spoke of in my stream last night, the next day, but you want to maintain that you don't watch my stream, okay? Or your energy is on here every single night, but you never want to talk to me, so you want to stick a visit. It's not you, okay? And so people are just constantly planting doubt into me and my experience, even with my success rate being as high as it is for tarot, for forecasting, for channel messages, especially with the deceased, where I've been building confidence in these gifts for the first time in a long time. You know, I've been confident in tarot, but it was just tarot. It was a third-party messenger. But it wasn't until more recent years, that I broke away from ascribing to being a 1111 tarot reader and started to realize that I was my own person and my own spiritual warrior, okay? My own spiritual warrior, and not just one who serves cards, okay? So it's still fun to do tarot, and it's nice to have something concrete right there to show you what I'm saying, rather than me just saying it and you not trusting it because there's nothing there to confirm it. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. That's kind of the whole challenge with the whole thing. Whether it's spiritual beliefs, whether it's, you know, religious beliefs, whether it's a choice or faith that you have in another person or something, it doesn't matter. It's all that same lesson of, yes, it's hard. That's why you have to be able to hold on tight or know when to let go, right? And so right now, I am in some ways holding tightly to my beliefs, while also letting go of everything that I have ever thought. And what that means, truly, in this moment, is I'm holding on tightly to my beliefs that I am meant to be walking the spiritual path. But I am letting go of what I thought that path would be, right? Because that is part of the double lens experience that you have during Cancer season. Regardless of what other people wished for you, regardless of what you were wishing for intentionally or unintentionally last Leo season, this is what we're seeing and not necessarily what we're getting, okay? We won't know what we're getting until Leo season, and once you get it, you start the whole process all over again. Or maybe it only opens every few years, because 2019 it was open. 2020 I don't really recall being so into it. 2021 we did a live stream, and then 2022 I was minding my own business, talked about it here and there, but now it's 2023 again, and it almost seems like, right? So just try to be conscious, whether it's open all the time or every other year or sometime, it doesn't matter. Think of it as a practice to keep, okay? Is to think, well, what if a portal opened and there was something that I wanted to manifest and I didn't know was there, but all I manifested was cruelty, negativity, hatred, because you just been saying and doing whatever. And that comes from a place of pure expert, because I have always been, as a channel and a vessel, one to go where I'm called, one to go where I feel, one to sense it out and just kind of keep in the direction that seems right. That's always been my thing. And so you needlessly wandered, needlessly and aimlessly, I should say, when you take that approach or use that method. Some people are, I don't chase, I attract. But I personally feel if you want something, you can go out and get it. And you don't have to be some certain type of person, sex or gender, or it be something that you're going after for you to just go after it, right? But once again, true spirituality does come with some flexibility in the same way that it requires some rigidity. Rigidity is probably not a word, okay. Either way, you kind of get what I'm saying, yeah? So, Cancer season's double lens might come to pass, might come to fool you, yeah? Might come to test you, put you at your limits, push your very beliefs, push your edge of sanity, okay? I've interacted with many people feeling this way. I've seen a lot of people in their posts. What is with the middle finger? Why do I keep wanting to put my middle fingers up? Is it because I put my rings on there? And so I'm saying these are my power? Or is it somebody has these bad intentions when they come on here, so I have to flick them off? It's weird, right? I don't know. What's funny also is what it's almost like well, I'm always just somewhere different, right? So I started so late, but I'm starting even later than I normally would. And it's been a minute since we've been streamed for more than 20, 40 minutes at a time, but it has been kind of quiet around here, and I have speculated, within me, like, oh, maybe this was always a farce. Maybe people were just being nice and never really liked me, and maybe they were just making fun of me by complimenting me or supporting me. Paranoid thoughts, an old mindset that I am always trying to stay away from and always tested to become. Okay, somebody's so tired. It might be me, sure. But I'm feeling this other tiredness. Everyone's tired. Nobody wants to figure it out. Nobody wants to think. But nobody's happy either, right? So everybody's like, everything's so expensive, and I can't afford this, and it's so hard to be that, and I just can't seem to But then no one wants to take us seriously. No one wants to listen to, have you considered the karma you've acquired? Have you considered the repercussions of the things we've done and said? Have you considered the spellbinding in which you consent to on a daily basis by scrolling random internet or listening to really low vibrational radio? Or, I mean, come on. Y'all are so fucking miserable with the 3D world. But then you want to make fun of people who say things are making more sense in the 5D world, or have a connection to some kind of source or higher power or knowing or sense of things or intuition, or believe it's beyond science, beyond coincidence, beyond this lifetime. Okay? Well, until y'all have better solutions, better answers, or a way to get inflation back down, make poverty go away, and have war be, at least with purpose, seems difficult to say no war. Because without war, we would almost cease the yin and the yang, right? So I've always been a no war type person. But then what is the reality of that war? We'll be at war with ourselves. Yeah? Okay, so there's always going to be some kind of war. Maybe it doesn't have to be senseless bombings all over the fucking world. Maybe it could be a different kind of war. And maybe it already is. But there's this resilience of people accepting it. And it's funny because I heard a reader today say that they wouldn't be doing live streams anymore because the frequency wasn't worth it. The disruptions weren't worth it. The people harassing them wasn't worth it. And you would have thought I would have been harassed off stream the way I was getting harassed the past couple weeks. And I took it because I said, yeah. I used to fucking definitely harass people who were in my life a little more than I do now. I mean, I'm annoying now, but I am nowhere near as insensitive, incapable of understanding or have the boundaries of respect that I do now, yeah? I used to just kind of be like, you've pissed me off. Now I'm gonna piss you off. I resist those things these days. I resist the type of connection that would rise that from my body. Because upon being afflicted with PMDD and beyond having trauma that goes way back, way back, meaning dealing with PTSD, I have done a lot to cope with that, help with that, fix that. And yet I've noticed that there are certain things and certain people and certain whatever that will still bring it out of me. Okay? So you have to avoid those things. Yeah. Or know your limits. Or know that it could be anyone, but as long as two people can communicate, say, oh, I don't like anybody right now, I gotta go. Okay, cool, because I don't want to dislike you, but I don't like anybody right now. Good. Being in the throes of it can be very hard. Because once more, clocking back to the paranoid thoughts, very common in premenstrual dysphoric disorder, not just with the premenstrual part, the dysphoria being a beast of its own, being completely dejected, suicidal, and just like gross violence, like really negative stuff. But the anxiety and insecurities coming with the post-menstrual cycle, getting into the ovulation cycle, getting into, well, now that that's over, what's left? The hunt for the primal urge to satisfy the biological need to procreate, as we know that to be our only purpose in this world. Okay, so here's, you know what? I will read what I wrote in the book. There wasn't much. This little book. This is just, I'm taking notes. Been taking notes. A couple messages. One of them is relevant. You know what? I'll just read it all because I can't remember. Maybe not all of it. But there's a couple pages where some of it I did read, but I don't remember because I wrote some of it out of order. So I'm not going to read the long pages, but just any of this. Yeah, so I have a couple pages. A couple little lines and then a couple pages from this is my traveling around and taking little notes. I've also noticed that there was a good 2 minutes. Every time I looked at the clock, there was a 7 in the number. It was cute. I think it was more than 2 minutes because I think it started at 17. And then I just kept noticing 27, 57, and it's finally, 7 as I'm talking about it. But I feel like it's finally. But believe, for this is the greatness we came for. Life is truly a dream. You've got to really ask yourself in the deepest ways why it can sometimes feel like a fucking nightmare. Separating God and Lucifer as enemies is like separating the Gloria and the prison system. Who's in charge? Well, prison systems are privately owned facilities and have private investors. Yeah, but the Gloria makes the laws, and the laws have to be followed because if they're broken, you end up in prison. So who cares who owns the prison? It's the reason the prison is there. Gloria, aka the God. Yeah. Just saying. And should you stay in the shadow of doubt, I shall remain in the light of love. A good mix of holiness and humanist, heaven's heathen. The truth of the divine, it happens all the time. I get somebody all stop blaming the devil for what God did. Works much like the machine, same team, us versus them kind of mentality, right? It's the same idea that the political parties, like the American government system, political parties are like somehow not part of the same entity, where these people aren't like socializing with each other or just putting on this like farce and tossing money back and forth and throwing some in their pockets each time. It's pretty much the same thing, right? Like, it's pretty much the same thing. It's kind of like that, right? Now this is my little 2-page thought. Why do we have this tendency to point out things like the way all generations before us having to work so much harder and be so much colder than we have to be today? Should the ease of life not be an indication that we have the time to sit and contemplate other aspects of it? We have been given the opportunity to stop and think about things, maybe even change them. Why not reinvent the wheel? We have every reason to sit and contemplate what life is and perhaps why we are living it. A truly great time to be curious about how it works. Why not go back and revisit the past, course correct, and move forward? We get the chance to be artists, mystics, emotional messes. It is all made up, sure, but it's all being made. Why wouldn't we analyze where we are and wanting to go? How else will it all get better if we refuse to see the wound? And then her. Introspective, because some people are very attached to the 3D world and what they know, and to chalk this up as whatever it is, coincidence, random, unintentional, misguided, either way. 27 minutes on the dot. 777 is the number of good luck, and I think that's God's number too. But either way, it's funny because I've been listening to this song because it was a channel message in another reading. One of the only readers I really enjoy catching up with and listening to is Linda Lake's Tarot on YouTube. They're pretty crazy readings. I don't think just anybody would really relate to what she's doing. Sometimes I'm not even sure I do, because I'm like, that'd be a whole lot of stuff I don't know about if that's the case. But I love listening to her because she really is in tune, and she's very pretty and got a good soul. But she channeled this song that I loved a long time ago in one of her readings recently, and I've been listening to it ever since. Don't let go, you got the music in you. One dance left, this world is gonna pull through. Don't give up, you got no reason to live. Can't forget, we only get what we give. Okay, so for a long time, all I gave was joy. Okay, when I was very young, when I was little, when I was a baby, I gave nothing but joy. Okay, and you would think a little pain too, but no, when I was a baby, I gave joy because I was a quiet baby. I slept so much. I would make a sound if I was hungry, and I would stop if I was fed. I was a very zen baby, okay? It was very nonchalant. Okay, so I brought nothing but joy, and so I got joy. And I became a little more cognizant, like a toddler, right? I experienced so much joy because I had given joy. Oh, okay. Well, now all of a sudden I'm not giving joy, am I? I'm giving terror. I'm giving terrible. Okay. Okay. So then, you keep going. Things felt terrible. So I got humble. I remained humble and small. So everything became humble and small, right? We're about in middle school in this theory, in this little theoretical story. I would tell you. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Because of course when you're young, you don't realize that that's how these things work. And some people get all the way into adulthood and still are in denial that any of it could be true, as if we don't see it on a regular basis, as if we don't see the way we react to the things that we like, as if we don't see the way we have chemical reactions to the things that we consume, whether it's sugar, whether it's medicine, whether it's poison, as alcohol is, or any kind of recreational, yeah? It just seems silly that we would be in denial that our thoughts would have a similar effect on our lifestyle, and vice versa, that our lifestyle wouldn't have an effect on our thoughts. Because we see that and we accept that as truth in every other area of our life. But then so many people are still so quick to deny the work that I do or the things that I say, right? Because I've learned the hard way by giving people a hard time, by being paranoid, by being angry, by being sad, by being uncontrollable. Listen, of course I'm a little unhinged. Listen, I don't want my door on the hinges, okay? It's just swinging back and forth and back and forth, open, close, okay. Just take the fucking door off the fucking hinges and let's go. Leave it open. I'm not trying to stay in any one room anyway. Gonna leave the door open. Okay, not like that, but I'm just saying. Sure, I'm a little unhinged. It's more fun that way. You can't be grounded without being lifted, okay? Because yes, it is a paradox, but it is also a balance, and that balance is duality of man. Yes? Okay. So, back and forth for me. Humble and weak, small and unseen, loud and proud, creative, fiery, okay? Loudmouth, or quite reserved, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. But I did give people a hard time for a long time because I had not realized what a hard time I was having. I was like, this shouldn't be so hard. Look at how hard everybody else is having such a hard time. Why am I having a hard time? It just doesn't seem like that hard of a time. Well, because it was a hard time. First of all, it was a hard time. Just because I couldn't see that doesn't mean that it wasn't true and didn't exist that way. Yes? Okay. Okay, good. Good. You got that. But if I can handle all these things, I can handle so many things. Why can't I handle that? Because sometimes in life, when we handle things, got it, okay, got it, okay, got a lot going on there, okay, we're handling, okay, I'm handling it, okay, yeah, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Sometimes something's gotta just come to make you realize you're not really handling anything, are you? Except maybe your own hands. And that's all you can do. Handle your own hands. So some things are meant to fill your hands. Some things are meant for you to handle. Some things are meant for you to temper with. And some things are meant to empty your hands and make you let everything go. And that's sort of like the difference between a tower moment where you're not expecting these things to happen and you don't see them coming and you don't know how to handle them and you don't respond well. Been there. Versus letting go is seeing the tower moment coming, feeling it, knowing it, experiencing it, doing it, and saying, okay, I kind of have to let that go. Kind of got it messed up, but you know what? Life goes on. I've got to accept it because I was wrong. Boom. Boom. Doesn't have to be a tower moment to be a tower moment. sometimes when it is a full blown tower moment, what is the difference? What is the difference? You say letting go versus a tower moment is the same thing, only it's perspective. Sure, because a tower moment is when everything's falling apart, your whole world crumbles, your even sense of self or your own identity just kind of slips away from you, yeah? But letting go is having that same experience of the world crumbling and losing your sense of identity, but accepting that there is no dire consequence for that. There's not actually some kind of dire consequence for things in your life to change. And being able to embrace change shows God, the universe, yourself, your higher self, your guide source, whatever you call it, whoever you connect to, whoever's listening, okay? Because I think all of those things can exist simultaneously in their own slight variations. Because I think that's truly the beauty of the world and of existence, is that it all exists at once. It does all exist at once. All of our mind's eye creations, all of our deepest, darkest secrets, all of our actions and words that we speak, and the things that we do, and the people that we are, and the places that we go, and the things that we see, it's all existing. All these ideas, all these higher powers, all these stories, they're all existing. It doesn't matter to what level or to what degree they are existing, to understand that this is the all-encompassing existence in which they all exist.